Welcome to Money Times, your go-to source for the latest news and insights in the world of cryptocurrency. Pavel Durov, the founder and CEO of Telegram, finds himself entangled in a legal and geopolitical web in France, a situation that has taken an unexpected turn in recent weeks. While many believe that Durov had gained a degree of freedom following his legal battles, recent developments have made it clear that he remains under significant restrictions. Specifically, Durov is currently barred from leaving France, a condition that underscores the gravity of the situation and the high stakes involved. The case against Durov began several months ago when French authorities initiated an investigation into Telegram's operations. The platform, known for its end-to-end encryption and privacy features, has long been a thorn in the side of various governments, particularly those in the West, who have sought greater access to its encrypted communications. This tension reached a boiling point in France, where authorities accused Durov of noncompliance with local laws and regulations, particularly those related to national security and information sharing. The French government's concern centers on Telegram's use by various groups, some of which are considered controversial or even dangerous by Western governments. The platform's encryption technology has made it a preferred tool for activists, journalists, and others who require secure communication channels. However, it has also attracted the attention of groups that Western governments have labeled as extremists or criminals, further complicating the platform's standing with authorities. In response to these concerns, French authorities have sought to compel Telegram to provide backdoor access to its encrypted communications. This demand is part of a broader effort by Western governments to increase their surveillance capabilities and ensure that platforms like Telegram do not become safe havens for individuals and groups seeking to evade scrutiny. However, Durov has consistently resisted these demands, arguing that compromising Telegram's encryption would violate the trust of its users and undermine the platform's core principles. Despite Durov's stance, the pressure on him and his company has only intensified. Earlier this year, Durov was detained by French authorities for questioning, an event that sent shockwaves through the tech community. Although he was eventually released on bail, the court imposed strict conditions on his release, including a prohibition on leaving the country. This measure was initially seen as temporary, a precautionary step while the investigation continued. However, recent court rulings have reaffirmed this restriction, signaling that the legal case against Durov is far from resolved. The decision to bar Durov from leaving France has raised numerous questions and concerns. For one, it suggests that the French authorities view Durov as a flight risk, someone who might leave the country to avoid further legal proceedings. It also indicates that the investigation into Telegram's operations is more serious and complex than previously thought. The legal arguments presented by the French authorities have centered on national security concerns, with officials claiming that Telegram's refusal to provide access to encrypted communications poses a significant threat. These arguments have been bolstered by the broader geopolitical context in which this case is unfolding. Telegram, despite being a global platform, has its roots in Russia, a fact that has not escaped the notice of Western governments. The platform's popularity in Russia and its use by various Russian entities have made it a target of scrutiny, particularly given the current tensions between Russia and the West. This geopolitical backdrop has added a layer of complexity to the case, as Western governments, including France, are wary of any technology that could potentially be used to undermine their interests. For Durov, the situation is becoming increasingly precarious. The restrictions on his movement are not just a legal inconvenience. They also have significant implications for his role as the leader of Telegram. Being unable to leave France limits his ability to manage the company effectively, particularly given the global nature of Telegram's operations. It also places him in a vulnerable position, as he remains under the watchful eye of French authorities, who could potentially escalate the legal proceedings against him. The French government's approach to this case has been met with mixed reactions. On one hand, there are those who support the government's efforts to ensure that platforms like Telegram do not become tools for evading law enforcement. These supporters argue that in an age of digital communication, governments must have the ability to monitor and, if necessary, intervene in communications that could pose a threat to national security. From this perspective, The restrictions on durov are seen as a necessary step to protect public safety. On the other hand, there are those who view the French government's actions as an overreach, a violation of the principles of privacy and freedom of expression. Critics argue that forcing Telegram to provide backdoor access to its communications would set a dangerous precedent, one that could lead to the erosion of digital rights and the expansion of government surveillance powers. These critics also point out that Durov's refusal to comply with such demands is in line with the values that have made Telegram popular in the first place. Values like privacy, security, and freedom from government intrusion. In conclusion, Pavel Durov's legal battle in France is a complex and multifaceted issue that touches on some of the most pressing questions of our time. It is a case that has significant implications for the future of digital privacy, the role of governments in regulating technology, and the balance between security and individual rights. As the case unfolds, the world will be watching closely, as the outcome could set important precedents for how these issues are addressed in the years to come. For now, Durov remains in France, his movements restricted, his future uncertain, but his resolve seemingly unshaken. The story of Pavel Durov and Telegram is far from over, and the coming months are likely to bring further developments that will shape the future of this ongoing legal saga. Thanks for watching Money Times. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't hesitate to share your thoughts in the comments. Keep following for more crypto insights, and until next time, happy trading.